This video will be page 3-13 of our notes. So what we've done so far is solving all of our equations. We've always come up with an answer. X equals 5, n equals -3. We could even have fractions. What's going to happen in these notes is you're actually going to have something different happen some of the time. So when you get to the homework, some of your answers will still be your regular answers of n equals 12 or whatever it might be. When you are solving an equation, you are trying to find the one number that when you plug it in for your variable, it makes the equation true. But you can see here there's two other things that might happen. So let's just go through each of these three things. The first one is what we've been doing all along. So first we distribute and get 6x plus 27 is equal to -5 minus 2x. So if there's parentheses, we need to distribute to get rid of those. If you have more than two terms on either side, then you would need to combine those two. We don't have that here, so we don't need to worry about that. Once you're down to 4 terms, it's easiest to always take the variable on the right and move it to the left. Moving from side to side means add or subtract. So to get rid of -2x, I would have to plus 2x to cancel it, plus 2x. I get 8x plus 27 is equal to -5. Once we moved our variable, it's our normal two-step equation, so you'll add or subtract first. In this case, we need a -27. 8x equals -32. Divide by 8. X equals -4. So then remember to check that. You'll plug it in on the left-hand side, 3 parentheses, 2 times -4 plus 9 parentheses should give you 3. Then you would have to do it on the right-hand side to make sure you get 3 also. -5 minus 2 times -4 would give you +3. So there's your solution, the only number that you could plug in to make your equation true. Okay, so that's what we've been doing all along. Here's our two weird things that are going to happen now. Couple of things here. You could combine your like terms right away on the left-hand side. 7 minus 3 would give me 4x minus 9 equals, if you want to write 4x plus 12 at the top to save you a little bit of work. So I distributed and got 4x plus 12. And then I can combine my 12 and my 1 to get 4x plus 13. So just a little bit less work there if you feel comfortable doing that. Otherwise, you'll just write out a whole nother line. So I'm going to again take the variable on the right, which is +4x, and move it to the left. So to get it to cancel, I need to minus 4x minus 4x. 4x minus 4x is 0. Those cancel. A lot of people write down x. That is not true. That would be if there was a 3 in front of that x. 4 minus 4 is 0. You technically can write 0x, but usually that just confuses people. Your x's canceled out completely. So you are left with -9 equals 13. So what could happen is if your variables match, they're going to cancel out on both sides, and you'll be left with an equation, a sentence, and it's either going to be true or false. -9 equals 13. That is definitely false. So what happens is we call that no solution. You could not find a single number in all of math to plug it in on each side and make it true. So you can either write out the word no solution, or the symbol is a 0 with a slash through it. So you could, for your final answer, so final answers are usually variable equal a number. You're not going to put x equals, you're just going to put a 0 with a slash through it. Okay, so let's talk about why this makes sense. On the left-hand side, it says you're going to take a number times 4, then subtract 9. The right-hand side says you're going to take that same number and multiply it by 4, but now you're going to add 13. There's no way that can happen. So that's why there's no solution. Now let's look at the right-hand side. I can distribute, and I would get negative 6x plus 10. Be very careful, a negative and a negative. Equals, when I put those two together, I get negative 6x plus 10. Now, some of you are going to be able to realize if it's infinite or none right from this step, and I'll go back and talk about that in a minute. But let's say we don't realize anything and we continue solving. To get rid of negative 6x, I would have to add 6x, add 6x. Again, those cancel exactly. You don't have to write anything down. So we have 10 equals 10. That is a true statement. You do not have to write true and false out. That's just something that you should be thinking of when you are solving these. That's kind of what you should ask yourself in your head. Is it true or is it false? All right, so this one's true, which means you could come up with any number that you can think of, like negative 1,052,000 or 7. Any number you can think of, if you plugged it in on the left-hand side and plugged it on the right-hand side, it's going to be the exact same number. So you can write infinite solutions, or you can write the infinity symbol. Okay, again, not x equals, just the infinity symbol. So that's what can happen. You can either have an actual number for a solution, like we've done all along. If your variables cancel and you have a false statement, it's no solution. If your variables cancel and it's a true statement, it's infinite solutions. Now, if you look at this line right here, I know some of it's canceled off, and this line right here. Notice your x terms match, your variable terms match. In the middle one, this one right here, your plain terms do not. So that's why there's no solution. Here, your left and right match exactly. So that's how you could tell right from there if it's no solution or infinite solutions. All right, so let's try these 4 out here. We have 5x minus 3 equals 6x minus 3 minus x. Again, if you want to do the distributing and combining all in one, if you feel comfortable with that, you can. What we would have is 5x minus 3 equals, those two together give me 5x minus 3. So again, some of you will recognize exact same thing on the left and on the right gives us infinite. If they match exactly, you're going to have infinite solutions. You could plug any number you wanted in there. If you kept solving, you would have subtracted 5x, subtracted 5x. Negative 3 equals negative 3, which is true, which is why it's infinite solutions. Okay. Number 2, we don't have to do any work to start it. You kind of look first and see, oh, my variables don't match, so this is just going to be a regular one. If your variable terms match, you will either have no solutions or infinite solutions. But if they don't, then you're going to have your normal solving. So I'm going to minus 9n from both sides. That cancels. Negative 7n minus 5 equals 37. Add 5 to both sides. Negative 7n equals 42. Divide, and n equals negative 6. So you will still have your regular answers in these problems. Everything's going to be all mixed together. So you don't have to get no solutions or infinite solutions. They will all be mixed in together. Number 3. First, we're going to distribute. 8 minus 2a equals negative 2a plus 16. Okay, so distribute the 2 on the left-hand side gives me 8 minus 2a. Distributing the negative 2 on the right-hand side gives me negative 2a plus 16. Be careful of the negative 2 and the negative 8. So some of you might recognize this right here, and some of you might not. It's okay. I would add 2a, add 2a. You need to be very careful. That's a negative 2a and a positive 2a, so those do cancel. 8 equals 16, which is false, so no solutions. You can just put a 0 with a slash through it. Number 4, 8k minus 12 plus 1 equals 8k minus 11. Put your like terms together on the left-hand side. 8k minus 11 equals 8k minus 11. So again, hopefully you recognize exact same thing. It means we're going to have infinite solutions. If not, subtract your 8k. Negative 11 equals negative 11, which is true. So infinite solutions. All right, so again, just to kind of wrap up what this means, you'll still solve all of these like normal. So some of them, your variables will not cancel. If your variables do cancel, you'll either have a true statement or a false statement. If your statement is true, it means you have infinite solutions. If your statement is false, it means you have no solutions.